Good morning, everybody. So it's day 3 in Colorado, and Madison and I are gonna kind of separate off on our own today, and we're going to do some things. We're gonna go on a gold mine tour, and it goes underground, so we really can't take the baby with Annette. He's 7 months old, but still don't really want to take him underground like that. So they're gonna go do some things, and we're gonna go do some things. Right now we're walking into the town of Silverton. It's about a 15-minute walk from our campground. What's really sad about here is you can't bring side-by-sides into the town of Silverton. And I kind of understand why. If somebody was to be drinking and driving or something and take off, they could disappear in the mountains before somebody could catch them. So I understand that part, but it would be kind of nice if they make a side-by-side trail into like the backside of town, not actually come into the main part of town, but just so you can get closer to it, a quarter mile or so. And then you could also access the railroad museum that's here. I gotta pace myself because of the thin air up here. And walking. Still haven't quite adjusted to it. So this is an absolutely beautiful campground that we're staying in. Really enjoying it. Really nice bathhouses. Everything's clean. Hot water every night. Couldn't ask for a better place. So it is the Silverton Lakes RV Park and Cabins. So if you're wondering, if you're wanting to make an adventure out here, I'm not sure what this is over here. Gotta find out. Got some mud, some rocks. It's kind of like a wetlands area. I think there's an information board over there. I'll have to go check out. But we went up to that mill our first night. We're gonna have to go back up there and get some video of that. But it's definitely still unbelievable that we're waking up here every day and seeing all this every morning. I highly recommend this trip. I know there's been some political comments about the state of Colorado in my comments on some things, and don't let the politics get in the way. Come out here and do this for yourself. Check the place out. I know it sucks that Walmart has paper bags and they're pushing paper straws out here, but don't let that deter you from coming out here and seeing this place. Oh, yeah. I guess we could have parked our side by side right here, but still, it's still quite a ways walk. We're just going to follow the dirt roads around. So there's only one paved road through Silverton, and it's right there. It's like Main Street through there. All right, we'll get some video when we get there. We're going to go find some breakfast. We got a lot of rain last night, so the mineral river's running pretty fast. And that water's not contaminated. That's just all the minerals that are coming out of the mountains. There's a museum I want to check out right there. And this is the San Juan County Garage and Shop. And then their fire department's down there a little farther. Well, this is where we had breakfast this morning here in Silverton. We went to the Kindle Mountain Cafe, and it was absolutely wonderful. I think it was the best meal since we've been here. I got to find out how they make their bacon, because their bacon was really good. I mean, it had like a glaze on it. It was just perfect. And the biscuits and gravy, those were really good too. So now we're going to head back to the campground. we'll get to side by side, and then we'll head to the gold mine tour and see what that's going to be like today. I'm a little bit nervous about going in the mountain. So, never really been in anything like that. So that's going to be interesting. So over there on their street department, you can see that avalanche indicator, and that tells you what the likelihood of an avalanche is going to be on 110 and 2, their main roads through the mountains. It's pretty interesting. I thought there was one somewhere around here for like forest fires too. I don't know where I've seen that one. I have to keep looking for it. So this is their courthouse right here. Nice courthouse. Well, we're headed to our mine tour right now. It's raining out, but it's nice. We don't mind because it keeps the dust down. But really there's not much dust when it is dusty. So basically we left the campground the same way we did in the other video, so I didn't video any of that. This is a county road here. The Animas River. The Alpine Loop is where we're going into. And there are signs that mark where we're going. I'll get some video when we get closer. Okay. Yep, this is where we turn. We're going to the Old 100 Gold Mine Tour. Narrow roads. Looks like we made it to the entrance. We need to get headsets like that guy's got so we can talk back and forth.
That'd be
It looks like the mine tour's up here about 3/4 of a mile. I bet these guys are just going trail riding. Well, figured we'd take a look at some of the equipment they had sitting outside here. Some sort of steel bridge. Looks like they had some narrow gauge track up here at one time. Got some ore cars. A little locomotive to pull them in the mine. It's got a little Detroit in it. That's pretty cool. Huh. That's neat. Alright, we'll have to see if they're doing tours today. Unfortunately, sign says closed, but I don't think they're really closed. Let's find out.
Good morning.
Sorry.
Oh, yes.
Two seniors.
Always be for sure. Yes. That's okay. We did too.
A mountain goat. So that's the map of the mine that we're going in. So we're going down the mine. You can't see nothing because it's pitch black.
Back in the 1800s, they sent men to the very top of this mountain. What they're looking for is an outcropping of quartz crystals. All the gold, silver, lead, zinc, and copper run in the quartz vein. The vein actually starts underground and it will surface when this mountain was formed a billion years ago and becomes an outcropping. So they went up there, they found that outcropping, they took an assay. An assay is going to tell you how many ounces per ton of that gold, silver, lead, zinc, and copper was actually in there. That panned out for them, so in 1904, they dropped down 400 feet from the skyline, they built a 3-story boarding house up there. So at the end of the tour, if the clouds lift, you can walk down that county road, it's about 100 yards down the road, there's a power pole with an arrow, stand underneath that arrow, look up there and see what they built in 1904. So when you came from Silverton, from asphalt to gravel, if you looked up, you'd seen some buckets hanging by some big steel cables. That's an aerial tram line. Thanks to mining, that's why you have ski resorts. We had the very first chairlifts. We had one from the bottom road that went all the way up to the top to the boarding house. The men and material would go up to the boarding house. The broken rock called muck or ore would actually come down to feed the mill. When we go outside, you'll look 600 feet above us, you'll see a wooden structure. It's called a trestle. That's the second level of this mine. There's 7 levels of this mine. We're in number 1. Number 2 is 600 feet above us. The 7th level is actually at the boarding house. All 7 levels are connected internally through a series of raises, and we're going to be talking about a raise here in a little bit, all right? So as we came in, we actually came uphill 3%. There's 2 reasons for that 3%. Excuse me. Number 1 is because all this water you're going to see on both sides of us. Mining companies are cheap, so we keep water on our mines by using gravity. The other reason is back in the 1800s, they actually had wheels underground. Back behind us over there, there's a 1-ton ore car. We'll see it at the end of the tour. Those miners would actually hand muck 3 to 4 of those 1-ton ore cars full of broken rock, tied up to their mule. That mule would actually go downhill loaded, drop off at the mill, turn around and come uphill unloaded, so it's better for the animals. And they lasted longer. That's the reason for that 3%. As you notice, we're going to be coming through here. There's a breeze coming through here. Right now, this is a natural ventilating mine. Excuse me, it's called outcasting, right? It's coming in from 3,000 feet above us, coming down the raises and going out the bottom. At the end of this month in October, it's going to reverse itself. It's going to be called incasting. It's actually going to suck in from the bottom and exhaust to the top. So you'll notice there's no ventilation equipment in this mine because it's a natural ventilating mine. So folks, when I say ask me questions and have fun, I do mean that. I've been mining for the last 30 years. I still mine to this day. I'm up here elk hunting except today because of the rain. That's why, so make sure you ask some questions. I've actually mined with everything down here except the stuff in the 1800s. Obviously, I'm not that old. That's why I brought my young friend right here. We're going to go ahead and ask him those questions. What?
How does the ventilation switch?
Pressure in the atmosphere. Yep. So, I've actually been, my allergies are killing me today. So, I've actually been on all 7 continents, 28 different countries. So, please do ask me any questions about that, all right? So, if you look right above me here with my light shining, that's actually that vein that I talked about. That white stuff there, that's actually the quartz crystals. Down here in the lower right-hand corner, that shiny sparkly stuff, that's actually iron pyrite, better known as fool's gold. The way you tell the difference between real gold and fool's gold, if you shine a light on a gold ring or put it in the sun, real gold is very dull color. You put the light on that, that sparkles like a diamond. That's how you tell the difference between the two. Right above there, you'll see that there's the rusty looking stuff, the gold rusty looking stuff with the black streaks in it. That's actually a little bit of zinc. So those miners in the 70s found a little bit of zinc and a little bit of copper on these bottom 3 levels. Again, they're looking for gold, silver, lead, zinc, and copper. All right? Any questions so far?
Is it still mining at all?
It is. This is still an active mine. You know what we're mining here?
What?
You know what we're mining here still?
No.
No guesses?
People.
Exactly right. We're mining tourists, yeah. So in the late 60s, early 70s, Dixieland Oil Company from Odessa, Texas. It came from Texas. It came to Silverton. They had black gold in Texas. They wanted to car ride yellow gold. They were here for 5 years, spent $11 million, went back to West Texas broke. They got sold what we call a dead mine, and again, we are mining tourists here, so if they kept it as a mine tour, they'd made a little bit of the $11 million back. So what we're going to do is go through what we call a miner cycle. I'm going to teach you how to drill, load, time, blast, and muck out. That's a true miner cycle. All right? Young lady, are you bored? You ready to go make some noise? All right, come back here with me, yeah. The issue's for the adult. Come on down. Come on in. Right there. Folks, we got a big group this morning. Put the vertically challenged up front, the taller people in the back. Make sure you can see me and hear me. Come on down. There's all this room. Tall people in the back, vertically challenged in the front. So the pressure in the atmosphere, to answer that question, hot air rises, cold air sinks, right? So when it pushes the cold air down, actually the hot air is coming down through the bottom. When there's big storms like right now, it's actually reversing itself now. So it's actually pressing the pressure down. It's pushing again right now. To answer your question.
Small person coming through.
All right, folks, make sure you can see me. And folks, we paid good money for this tour. We're going to have a good tour. My allergies are killing me, so if I pull a Biden on you and you don't understand what I'm saying, tell me. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm that person. Trust me, I get worse. So, folks, first thing you have to do in a mine is you got to drill out a series of holes called a round. That round's going to be 8 feet tall, 8 feet wide, 6 feet deep, 32 to 40 holes. Those 32 to 40 holes are only 6 to 8 inches apart. So every morning in the boarding house, as miners would go to work, they got issued a 5-pound hammer called a single jack and a drill steel. This is called single jack drilling. They'll walk up to their working face, line up that drill steel, and start drilling out a hole, similar to like this. You line it up, start drilling. How that works is you strike it, quarter of a turn, strike it, quarter of a turn. They're going to do this for 8 to 10 hours of the day, all day long. Back in the 1800s, young lady, they got paid $1 a day. Would you do this for $1 a day? Yeah, no. So, folks, you're going to hear me talk about time is money as we go through this tour, and I'll explain that at the end of the tour. In that same era, they had what they called team drilling. It was called double jack drilling. They got issued an 8 to 12 pound sledgehammer known as a double jack, and a lot longer drill still. How this works is you got the hammer man that's going to be me, and you got the shaker lady that's going to be you, young lady. Come on up here. Yeah. It's kind of in the name, right? Shaker. So what you're going to do is you're going to bend down, you put your arm straight out like that, and every time I strike that, you got to give it a quarter of a turn, okay? You know what that quarter of a turn's for? To make that perfect round hole to put dynamite in there to blow it up. All right, you got to bend down a little bit, put your arm straight out. You got to give me swinging room, right? All right, young lady, you trust me? You trust me? I've only had 6 shots of tequila, 4 beers, and I missed once this morning already. Here we go. So folks, we'll be sitting there, we're drilling along. If I actually glance off that drill still and I smack her in the wrist, well, guess what? She's got a really sore wrist, right? Well, the other thing is I can't swing this for 8 to 10 hours of the day, so we swap. She becomes a hammer man person. There you go. Let's give you this one. And I become the shaker man. Well, first is she's going to obviously smack me back on the wrist. We both have sore wrists, so then we go back to drilling, right, young lady? All right, keep your eyes on top of that drill still and don't miss. So, folks, that's double jack drilling. Perfect. Give her a round of applause. So, young lady, that paid me and you $1.50 a day. We did twice the work, so we made 50 cents more a day. Would you do that for $1.50? Yeah, I wouldn't either, trust me. So, folks, that's actually, this type of drilling took weeks to drill out that round. In the 30s, they came out with this machine right here. This is called a column drill. Excuse me. It's called a column drill. It's a pneumatic machine. It's ran off compressed air. They call it a column drill because you got that big steel column there. You wedge it in the top and you got the jacks on the bottom. Well, 2 problems with this machine. Number one, it weighs over 300 pounds, so it still takes 2 to 3 miners to move it around that 8 feet by 8 feet. The other problem with that drill is the nickname they gave it. This is actually called a widowmaker. Yeah, imagine that. So folks, 90% of the rock in the world has silica dust in it. This is Gunnison blue granite. This is some of the hardest rock in North America. It's full of silica dust. So in the 30s, those miners would come up here, they turn that on, they start drilling out that hole. Well, all that dust is coming out at them, they're ingesting that dust. Those miners are only good for about 3 to 5 years before they expire. They're going to pass away from what miners call black lung disease, better known as silicosis. So later on, they came out with a genius idea. They grabbed these drill stills, they hollowed out a hole from the top all the way down through the bottom of them, came over here, injected water into their drills. Now instead of having that dust, they have a slurry. So when they introduced the water to the drilling, they cut down the silicosis by 74%. All right? So we're going to be running a lot of this equipment for you. It's going to be loud. So when I count down from 3, make sure you plug your ears. If you don't, you'll be like me and can't hear. If you have hearing aids in, I don't know how they work. Take them out or put them in. Come on, young lady. Come on. Come on, little one. Oh, yeah, I see you. Don't worry. We're all going to go do something. All right, little one. With this hand, you're going to grab that. With that hand, you're going to plug your ear.
Put your finger in your
Plug your ear. Where's mom at? Just in case something goes wrong. Okay, here we go. All right, young lady, I'm going to plug this here, okay? When I turn that on, you start spinning that like crazy. It's going to be really loud, okay? On 3. 1, 2, 3. What do you think of that? Yeah, you like that?
She's like,
So, young lady, that was only 45 PSI. At the end of this tour, I'm going to set off 500 pounds of dynamite, so you got to make sure all 30 of us are down that drift far enough, because if we're not, we're going to get knocked on our backsides and our hard hats are going to go flying off. Can you do that for me?
she's like, oh,
Go ahead and step on down. All right, folks. So when I say I've been all over the world, what I do is vertical development. I go straight up called a raise, or I go straight down called a shaft. What you're in right here is called a drift. It's horizontal. All this equipment from here on out that we talk about and I demonstrate are still used to this day, and this is the equipment that actually designed the mine that you're in right now, that developed the mine you're in right now. All 4 of these drills behind me, they're about 125 pounds with a 4-foot drill still. They're all a pneumatic machine, compressed air, and they all have a telescoping leg on them. I don't hold up 125 pounds. I turn that leg on, it's an air cylinder. When I turn that leg on, it's going to push that drill steel against the rock for me, and that's how I'm going to drill out those rounds. The 3 behind me standing against the rim are called a buzzy or a stoper. They're for driving rays, and we're going to talk about a raise in about 5 minutes. So I bring out my stoper, I line it up, I'm going to drill a series of holes above my head called a raise round. Everything I teach you today is about driving drift. You take what I teach you, you put it straight up above you and straight below you, same as raise mining and shaft sinking, all right? Same concept. This one here, this is a 63 Gardner Denver jack leg. This is for driving drift, what you're standing in there. So me personally, I can drill that 8 feet by 8 feet out, 32 to 40 holes in about 2 hours. You always have a partner underground. I'd be on the right, he or she'd be on the left. 2 miners, 2 drills, you meet in the middle, you cut it down to 45 minutes. So we went from weeks to days to hours, all right? Come on, young lady. Come on. Yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna let you drill something besides getting hit in the hand with a hammer. Okay, grab this with your right hand, plug your ear with your left hand. All right, folks, on 3, we're gonna make some noise. Plug your ears, little one. There you go. All right, hold on tight. Here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Ready? What do you think of that? Yeah, oh, that was a lot of work, huh? So, young ladies, you like that vibration? Do it for 30 years, you'll be like me. It's called arthritis. It's called trade schools or college girls, yes. All right, folks, any questions about the drilling cycle?
You get in here and do all this, but how do you get to this point where it's open enough that you can do the?
Drill and blast?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to come together. Remember, I'm going to teach you how to drill, load, time, blast, yeah? So when I say ask me questions, please do. And I say when I say give me a few minutes, I'll actually bring this whole tour together at the end, all right? But please do ask the questions. All right, folks, walk down here. There's a wooden barricade. Get next to it. Look straight up. All right, folks, keep coming in here. Take some photos and just circle around. Everybody, get everybody a check. Just look up. Right here, kiddos. Here's my rock. Stand on my rock. Little vertically chin up. You're going to take off your hard hat so it doesn't fall in the ditch. What do you think of that? Ah.
That looks like a helmet.
Alright. That ditch is called a.
I'm not telling you what's coming.
Alright, let the next young one go. Can I pick you up in the lady? Mine's actually an underground building. If you've been to a skyscraper or a hotel in Vegas, you get in the elevator, you push floor 2 looks like 3 looks like 4, so on and so forth, right? All 7 left. There's a nut. Oh, that's a little one. She doesn't have to pay me $5. So, all 7 levels of this mine are similar to this. There's a series of drifts, a series of raises, and a series of horseshoes. The only difference between that building and this mine is one's made out of steel and concrete, the other one's made out of solid rock. A mine's actually an underground building. So, this right here, this is our skip or a cage. This is our underground elevator. How that works is back behind you, there used to be a big winch called a hoist. It spit out a 2-inch rope cable, it'd go up the winds, go around the wheel, go up 630 feet over a big bull wheel, come down and connect to the center here, and that's how you're going to get from level to level. That number 2 level that I said when you go outside and look up, this raise goes straight up 600 feet to the number 2 level. Offsets by about 110 yards, and then from there it goes all the way up to the 7th level. All 3,000 feet of this mine are connected through a series of raises like this. So unlike that building and that elevator, we don't have buttons that we push. We actually use bell signals. We still use bell signals to this day. Obviously, we have better bells and a lot better electronics. This right here is Colorado bell signal chart. I work for Canadian companies, so I'm used to Ontario bells. I spent the last 2 years in Botswana, Africa, so we use Botswana bell signals. If you look right here, it says 3 bells, men getting on. Down here, it says 1, 2. 1 is going up, 2 is to the level. If you're going to the 3rd level, you'd ring a 1, 3. So we're going to go to the 2nd level, we're going to ring a 3, 1, 2. As soon as we ring that 3, 1, 2, all 30 of us will get on that cage. That hoistman back there is going to reply a 3, 1, 2. As soon as he does that, we're going straight up 600 feet to the number 2 level to go to work. So that's how we're going to connect all 7 levels. This one over here, my light shining, that's actually called a coffin skip. Right? So it's kind of in the name, right? Young lady, coffin. It was outlawed in the 50s, yeah. So that 2-inch rope cable that I mentioned, that holds tens of thousands of pounds of weight. This is actually a 5/8 rope cable. You put a 200-pound miner in there, a 100-pound drill, some drill steel, 5 cases of dynamite, you're between 800 and 1,000 pounds. Well, your partner will run that little yellow thing on the other side of that gentleman called a tugger. So as soon as you get around this brow here, you get up there 400 feet, your partner can't see you, you get hung up on the hanging wall, that weight's going to snap that cable, you and all your gear are coming straight back down in a fast manner. That's why they call it a coffin skip, that's why they outlawed it in the 50s. Alright? I'm going to run this for you, it's going to make some noise, I'll count down from 3, and I'll run it up and down a few times. Alright, young lady, you going to go for a ride in my coffin skip?
No, thank you.
You weigh like a $1.05. It's good for at least about 230. No, no takers, no takers. Okay. No, good. Young lady, you good? All right, folks, I gotta sneak by you to get over here to this. All right, on three, I'm gonna make some noise and watch the coffin skip. 1, 2, 3, here we go. All right, is there any questions about the coffin skip, the raise, or the underground elevator? Any questions so far?
What's the blue stuff?
What's that blue stuff? That's one of those 5 minerals I named about 3 times throughout the tour. Gold, silver, lead, zinc, and copper. Which one is it? It's oxidized copper, exactly right. That actually has a little calcium in it, so it makes it that beautiful blue color. The copper is usually this bluish green over here on this rib. So ladies, if your husbands or boyfriends ever buy you a ring and 3 months later your finger turns green, you might want to trade him in. He's cheap. Yeah, that's not gold, that's copper. That happened to you? That's a big old smile. Yeah, where's he at? Yeah, I know, inflation, right? I gotta stop that. Okay. All right, folks, come on down here and we're gonna talk about some stuff on the table.
Were cajuns ever a problem? We were coal miners in our area. Cajuns.
No. So here we call it slab. So if this, say there's a big loose rock there, that would be a slab. Coal mines, I've mined everything in the world except coal. I won't even go on a coal mine property, and they consider it a controlled cave-in. That's like me telling you I can control this rock right now. Yep. You like the Indiana Jones movies, young man? Yeah. Turn around and look up. Yeah, give it about 30 seconds. That big boulder will be coming down. Yeah. We only got 32 tours this year. We got to live up to the name Old 100, right?
Where does that lead to?
That leads right to that raise. And I'll explain that down here. So folks, we'll just make a nice big circle. Make sure the vertically challenge is up front. Don't go too far back in that drift there, because we're going to be talking here for about the next 10 minutes. Young lady, you strong? Yeah? Where's your mom at? Is she strong? Did you lose her? Look, everybody's wearing canary yellow. Did you hear? This mom?
Yeah.
All right, Mom. I'm going to give you the opportunity of a lifetime. This is my favorite rock in the world. Where are you from?
Massachusetts.
So if you can pick this up with one hand just like that, straight up, you got to take it back to Massachusetts with you. Go ahead. Don't be a millennial and give up after 30 seconds either.
Yeah, no. Got it close.
It's not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen.
All right, folks, so let me just walk under over there. I'll start with this rock in a minute. That's actually that winds. I mentioned it earlier. You can't lift it. It weighs more than you, kiddo. So that's that winds I mentioned earlier, how that 2-inch rope cable went up a winds, went around 2 wheels to get to the second level. That whole development right there, that 12 foot by 12 foot's there just for that 2-inch rope cable. If you went 90 or straight out, 90 straight up, you'd have to use 7 or 8 different wheels to get your alignment and your adjustment. Every time you add a wheel to it, you're going to pull the amps off your hoist. It's going to slow it down by a minute or two a trip. Over 5 years, that's millions of dollars. Time is money. So that whole development's for that 2-inch rope cable. So this rock this young lady is trying to pick up, this is a piece of galena. Galena is a lead-silver mixture, 90% lead, 10% silver. The reason I bring this up is because we're inside a Galena mountain. This rock weighs 45 to 50 pounds, so I know somebody you're going to come play with my rock. It's 2 hands over the table. You got 2 minutes when I get done talking, all right? So, you can't hear. So, folks, you're going to think I'm crazy. I am a little bit. I spent half my life underground. Well, believe it or not, this is the safest place you've ever been in your life. Look at this one right here. Yeah. I know I'm from Colorado, but I can't smoke that stuff. It's called ATF. I still mine for a living, right? So, folks, the reason I say that is because you got 3,000 feet of the hardest rock in North America above you.
I can lift it.
You got 3,000 feet of the hardest rock in North America above you. You got 12 months of natural ventilation. Since we got off that train, have you seen any ground support, any timber or steel holding this rock up?
Nope.
It started in the 1800s. It shut down in 1974. It's been a mine tour here for 33 years. You look around, there's no cave-ins, nothing like that, right? The other reason I bring that up, young lady, and I am the smartest person you'll ever meet, just ask me. We all know it happened in Florida about 2.5, 3 years ago. Remember those condo buildings? That was designed by people. However you believe, we didn't design this. Changed your mind, didn't I? Yeah. She's like, yours. Never mind, I can't say it. So, folks, back then, me and my young friend were doing that double jacking and single jacking. This is what we had for light, was candle light. Every morning at the boarding house, me and that young lady would go to work. We got issued an 8-hour candle. That candle was our timepiece plus our light. So when that candle burnt out, that was the end of your 8-hour shift. You go back to the boarding house, do it again the next day. The cool thing about the candlestick is it has a point and it has a hook on it. So with that point, you can stick it into a timber, you can put it in the crack of a rock, or you can hang it off something. That way your hands free while you're doing your double jacking and single jacking. After the candlelight, they came out with a carbide lamp. How that works is you put a chunk of carbide in the bottom, you fill the top full of water. When water mixes with carbide, it forms a gas. Does anybody know what gas that is?
Acetylene.
Exactly right, acetylene gas. Very flammable gas. They strike a match, now they have an inch to an inch and a half flame. So when we get done with the tour, get ready your jackets, your hard hats, look around the gift shop, and you'll see those miners using the carbide lamps. But remember, acetylene gas, it will come back in the tour at the end. And young lady, number one rule of my tour was have fun and ask questions, right? Yeah. All right, here we go. So after the carbide lamp, they actually came out with a weight lamp. It's a rechargeable light. It lasts 12 to 18 hours. This is the style I use to this day. Reason why, I drive rays for a living. This goes on a miner's belt, hangs on my hip. This light actually clips into the front of my hard hat, plus into the back of my hard hat. If I'm up in the rays a couple hundred feet, I get hit in the head with a rock, I don't lose my gear all the way down to the bottom of the rays. That's why I use this style. Nowadays, a lot of the miners like these. They're super light, they don't go on your hip, and they got better illumination. Well, the problem is they don't listen to me. They go up in the rays with me. It's not if, it's when they get hit in the head with a rock. Well, they got go down a series of ladders to go get their gear from the bottom of the rays, right? Time is money. I got to stop drilling. I'm super annoyed. So while they're going down, I'm sitting there kicking small rocks on their head. I disconnect my water hose and give them the coldest shower they ever had. And you ask me, young lady, I am that person because I like my money. She's like, you're nuts. All right, folks, is there any questions about anything on the table, about the lighting or anything you see here?
How much do the miners make these days?
We'll get to that at the end of the tour. That's that time is money, don't worry.
It's all about the money.
All right, folks. Well, you notice everybody here is wearing canary yellow except me. Those are coal mines, so that's actually how they did their gas detection. Hard rock does not have all those nasty gases. They don't have the methane and everything like that. We actually check the air quality down here 3 times a day. We had to do it this morning, and we'll do it on the next tour because actually it's going to be changing the ventilation as we go because that big storm's here. Yep.
Where do they check the air quality?
No, just see how much oxygen. It has about 10 different ones in there to make sure because it's got to be legal through the state of Colorado. Yep. All right, any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
Is this gold?
That's real gold paint from Home Depot. She's like, not what I wanted to hear. All right, folks, come on over here. I'm going to be talking about this right here. Make sure you put the vertically challenged up front. You can't say short anymore. You can't say anything anymore. See, I like your generation better because then you can say whatever you want. Yeah. All right, don't go too far back there. You're going to miss half of this. All right, folks. Make sure everybody can get up here vertically challenged up front. Folks, this is that round we just drilled out. 8 feet tall, 8 feet wide, 6 feet deep, 32 to 40 holes. When you put 500 pounds of explosives in there and you blast that, that's 30 tons of broken rock, 30 tons of muck. You'll notice in the center here, there's a hole that doesn't have any dynamite in it. That's called a dead hole or reliever. You put 500 pounds of explosives in here, you don't have a dead hole. When you set that off, what happens, it's going to give it a shock and it's going to freeze. It has nowhere to break to. That little hole actually gives it somewhere to break to advance that 6 feet forward. The 4 holes around it, that's called a 5-hole burn. Then there's 2 holes above it, 2 holes straight below it, that's your box. Then it goes to a diamond, 1 hole on the top, 1 on the left, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and then 1 on the bottom. So box, diamond, then it goes to a bigger box and a bigger diamond. These holes up here, these are called your back holes. They're the second to last to go off. They're actually going to collapse straight down. Now you got 30 tons of broken rock here, 30 tons of muck. These bottom holes are called lifters. They're the last thing to go off. They're actually going to pick up that 30 tons of muck, pick it up, throw it out into your drift, and we call that fluffing your muck pile. Yeah, I knew it. So folks, that goes back to that time is money. That rock's out there nice and loose. I can come in and muck it out really fast. These bottom holes don't go off. I got 30 tons of set up concrete here. It takes me twice as long to muck it out. I got to find those bottom holes, blow them out, reload them, and blast them because I need that 8 feet by 8 feet, and I'll explain that at the end of the tour. So the way we're gonna load this round is you get a stick of dynamite and a non-L blasting cap. You shove that non-L blasting cap into your dynamite, you turn it upside down like so. You get a wooden loading pole called a tamping stick, wood because it's non-sparking. You shove that dynamite in that hole, push it all the way to the back, you tamp it in there as tight as you can get it, and you're actually gonna load all 6 feet of that hole. From the back of the hole to the collar of the hole, all 40 holes the same way, and that's where you come up with that 500 pounds of explosives. Yes, ma'am? When we can blow it up, you and this young lady will do it here in about 5 minutes.
Take a second and figure out what you were saying.
Yep. All right, so the way we're gonna time this round, when this blasting cap was brand new, it had a clip on it and it had a number. That number is actually in milliseconds. So inside this trunk line, there's a flash powder that burns in milliseconds. We'd have 5 cases of dynamite, 40 caps, numbered 0 through 40. You come over here, you put a 0, a 1, 2 2s, 2 3s in your box, 2 4s in your box. Then you do 4 5s in your diamond to lay it out from there. Then you'd have 36s or 37s in your back holes and number 40s in your bottom. How that works out, you start out with an 1.5 inch dead hole. It goes to your 5-hole burn, then your box, your diamond, your box, your diamond. All you're doing is break into the center to create a bigger hole to advance that 6 feet forward. Okay? The way we're gonna blast this is that clip I mentioned. You get a piece of det cord, you run your det cord across your face, you clip all 40 non-Ls into your det cord, you tie your det cord to an electric blasting cap, tie that into a power source. We'd walk to the train, fire in the hole, 9-volt battery, send a volt of electricity down. That's gonna set off that blasting cap. The blasting cap sets off the det cord. The det cord will set off all 40 non-Ls at the same time, and from there it delays out to milliseconds. So when that goes off, it sounds boom, ba 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 ba, big old rumble, a pause, and one big explosion when your lifters go off. That's how we drilled it, we loaded it, we timed it, we blasted it. Any questions, yes, young lady?
Are we gonna get to dig out the silver and the gold?
Yeah, when we get outside, there's gold panning for you. In here, we gotta blow it up first.
We gotta blow it up first.
Yeah.
Wanna blow it up?
All right, folks, any other questions?
So
Yes.
how long was this blasting technique used? Over what time period?
It's been the same way from the 1800s until now. So that happens, we've only been mining, what, 230, 250 years, right? So we actually learned this from the Polish tin miners. They actually came over from Europe, so we learned the timing and the dead holes from the Europeans because they've been mining for thousands of years.
What's that?
That's where that came from. That's what you're gonna blow it up with. All right, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
When is the tour gonna end?
I'm the comedian here, young lady. Don't worry, I had the same little one about a month ago look at me and go, do you ever get sick of talking? All right, folks, we're gonna walk down here. There is a low spot. If you're taller than me, you're gonna have to duck. Come on down. When you come out, make sure you're one group at a time. I'll get a picture of you guys underground.
Right.
He's gonna take pictures of us. And I was gonna get back in our group.
Oh, it was never brought up in conversation. I didn't know you sold carbide for selling lamps.
I didn't wanna do this work.
You know, they didn't quite have, you know.
Do the tour. Yeah, better get above ground.
Coal mining hardly works.
on down. Right there, sir. Alright folks, so we just walked under that still chute you walked under. That's actually called an ore chute. So how that works, back in the day they sent those miners and they actually drove raises called 4 passes. They go up like a lightning bolt. They go up to the 2nd level, to the 3rd, to the 4th, to the 5th. They connected all 7 levels. They come down here, they install that chute. They're going to use gravity. They're going to drop that rock from level to level and come all the way down into that chute. This drift right here from daylight that you see outside to the back is actually 4.5 miles. Every couple hundred yards going down there, there's going to be an ore chute, one on the right, one on the left. Where we came in on is actually called a man trip. Usually you'd have 30-ton gravity ore cars, about 60 of them on there. This rail would go all the way back 4.5 miles. That miner would bring that train in, they'd center those ore cars under those chutes, they'd open those gates. That gravity would fill that ore car full of broken rock, the ore cars would take it out to the mill. All we did is replace that aerial tram line by using gravity in the ore cars. That's pretty much what that's about there. So, we're almost done with the miner's cycle and we're almost done with the mine tour. So far, we learned how to drill, load, time, blast. We talked about gravity in the ore chutes, the ore cars a bit. The last part of the miner's cycle is actually the muck cycle. If we're down here on this mainline tram, we just blasted 30 tons of rock. I gotta get that broken rock from in front of me into this 1-ton ore car behind me. This machine I'm standing on is called an Amco 12B mucking machine, better known as an overshot mucker. This bucket will go flying right by my face. It's going to slingshot a bucket of muck into that ore car behind me. I fill that up, my partner takes it out, switches it out, brings me an empty one until we get that 30 tons of muck out and advance that 6 feet. So we talked about 8 feet by 8 feet. When I run this for you, you'll see if I don't have an 8-foot back, I can't throw that bucket over. You'll see me come in on the left, come out on the right, center 4 feet, center 4 feet. That 8 feet by 8 feet for the clearance for the 12 feet bucket machine itself. So we talked about time as money. How that works is me and this young lady were partners down here. We'd have to do this cycle just the 2 of us, 3 times in a 10-hour shift. We make $32 to $40 an hour. We want to double or triple our day's pay, our hourly rate. We want to make that $100 to $150 an hour. The harder you work, the more money you make. That's what mining's all about. All right? So, I'm going to run this for you. It's the loudest piece of gear that I have here. If you want to video it, please do. You'll probably never see another one ran. But I'm going to do 2 cycles. I'll go in, I'll dump, I'll go back in again, I'll dump again, and I'll shut it down. All right? Here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Cycle. We drilled it, we loaded it, we timed it, we blasted it, we mucked it out. We're going to go get those heavy jack legs and start drilling out our next tram to make our money for the day. Any questions on the drill or the miner cycle or the mine tour so far?
How do you not know?
You know what? It's not being good.
If you were like doing it, how do you not know that whatever you roast isn't that good?
Well, it's been mine for 100 years and mine tour for 33 years. It's the rock. It's the way that it's formed. So you notice when we came in, there was all that ground support, there was that timber, the steel, and all those bolts and mesh. That's actually the weakest part of this mountain. The erosion goes down like this. That's why they had all that support coming in. As soon as we got under here, it's actually so hard that you can do it. I can go blast 2-4 rounds a shift right now, and nothing would come down. It's that hard, and it's just how the geology locks it in together. Yep.
How do you bring the compressed air in?
Compressed air, so the compressors would be outside. Nowadays, they're the size of a 2-story house. They come in on 24-inch pipes. They come into big receiver tanks underground, and from there they go from 12-inch to 6-inch into an inch and out hose like this. It's all about the volume plus the PSI. If you don't have the volume, you'll never keep up with your momentum going forward. Yep.
How many miles of passageways, tunnels?
So we estimate there's about 65 miles of development throughout this 3,000 feet of mountain that we're in. Raises and drifts, yep.
How do you know which direction to?
You call it drifting because you're drifting along with the vein. You notice how we came straight in and we hit that Y, where I showed you that vein material? That's what they're doing. So if that vein goes left, they go left. If they go right, it's all about the vein. All your money's in that gold, silver, lead, zinc, and copper, and the vein material itself. You gotta yell at me, young lady, I can't hear it.
Okay, I know you said this, but I missed it. Where, the rock that you're collecting on that side and dumping over here, are you just doing one of those collection places?
No.
Where it all comes down, where is it?
This will actually go in the ore cars behind me, my partner would take it out, dump it off at the mill, then come back in.
Yeah, but I mean, the rock you're getting on that side.
That's where we just blasted.
Oh, okay.
We're advancing that way forward, yep. Yeah, so we got solid rock here, that's why we have to have this thrown backwards, because there's nowhere to turn it around, yep.
And then someone sorts through that to see if.
That's a milling process, that's where they crush it down and they actually separate those, 5 minerals. Yep. Alright, so the number one rule of my tour was ask questions and have fun. There's a lot of people that made it look like they ate a sour lemon all the way through my tour, it hurts my feelings. I warned one young lady, but I'm kind of scared of her, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this one right here and this one back here, yeah. You two right there, come on down here. Come on down, folks. Don't worry, I made eye contact with everybody. Oh, yes. I know it's chilly, it's more underground than it is outside. Yeah, these two here, Alright. Go ahead, take up your list, put your hard hat right here. Alright, we'll take the blonde lady first. Here's my light. What do you think this box of wood is? Who belongs to these people?
Well, I know it's a tackle.
Nothing. Go ahead. Nothing's gonna bite you. I am not gonna cut you. That's called a felony. So yeah, we're good. Go ahead, look in there. I'm gonna come over here. Don't worry. So you gotta stick your head in there and look where that wheel's going. Isn't it nice and deep? Yeah. All right, reach in there and pick something up. Show everybody because it's getting us small. We gotta get out of here. Don't worry, nothing's gonna bite you. What do you think that is?
It's burnt wood.
It's burnt wood? Something, yeah. Go ahead and put that back in. No, really, you gotta look where that wheel is. Go ahead. Nothing's gonna jump out at your place. Well, you gotta stick your head in there. There you go. You don't see anything? So young lady, 2 things. Number 1, if they ever say that they work underground half their life, we're all full of something and we like shenanigans. The other thing is, it's always a safety thing. You always start at the top and work your way in. It could be bad gas or bad something in there, right? If you look right here, this is 100 years old. See how I had that perfect round circle right there? You know what this is now? If you got up here, turned around and sat there. Yeah, you just get yourself swirly. I'm not sure what you're doing. So folks, this is called a honey pot. This is their underground So folks, what kind of gas that carbide light make? Acetylene gas, right? So we all know what kind of person I am by now. Ask this young lady, she wants to give me a left hook. I'll put it in her head. So I'm going to walk by here with a handful of carbide. I throw it in there. I go off and go to work. And next man's going to be coming over here, you know, doing his business, having a moment for himself. He strikes that match, lights that cigar, he drops that match in there. That's going to be the best bikini wax that man's ever had. Yeah. The other thing is, how many degrees do we come up, Bill? 3. Only thing stopping this from going out a quarter of a mile is a chunk of chain across the rail. Well, if your partner up and leaves you, you know where he's going. It's not going to get explosives. He'll be over here just light off having a moment, right? You sneak around that drift over there, you pull that chain out, you give him a kick, he goes out a quarter of a mile, nothing but a smile on his face and pants around his ankle. So the moral of my story, folks, stay out of the mines. If you do, you always want to train your body before work or after work, right? If you're in the military, thank you for your service. The military, oil fields, constructions, 90% of the shenanigans go around the Blue Lagoons, right? Underground, this is all you have for light, not much of an HR, because everybody thinks I'm pretty funny, except this one right here. We do it a lot. All right, folks, so what we're going to do is we need to get your groups in a line right here. Take the first group, hand me a cell phone, and I'll get a picture of your group underground since we didn't get to do it outside. So make sure you have your group. We got to do this in a fast manner. All right? So we need the big 16. Oh, right here, folks. Right here. Can we get any time? All right, who's the cell phone?
Who's the 16?
Alright, we gotta get the first gentleman to put the elevator on the back. Yeah, we gotta get inside. Yeah, on?
Yes.
that was the toilet. Well, the tour was absolutely awesome. I want to thank Marv, our tour guide, for giving us such a great experience, explaining everything as we went. And I got the acetylene lamp right, didn't I? Put the carbide in the water. See, I'm not that uneducated. And you know who taught me that? Believe it or not, my one learning disability teacher. She brought her dad's original carbide lamp into the class because we were reading or doing a report on coal mining. He was a coal miner in Kentucky. And that's how I learned about the carbide lamps. She actually brought it into the class, put water in it, chunk carbide, and we lit it. We turned the lights out, and I'll never forget it. So my learning disability teachers were the best. Oh no, she's got more crap to drag back home.
Do you think that this was found here, or do you think they bought it?
I think that was bought. Because what is that?
Well, it was out. It was separate in those pans.
Oh, maybe they found it here. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Oh, wait, we got one more thing we gotta go look at. Sorry. So a little past the mine, you come to this utility pole and it says bunkhouse on it. And somewhere up there is the bunkhouse where the winch comes out. I think it's right over there. And that's what makes all this make sense of where he was talking about what they use to lift stuff out and things like that. It's getting pretty windy, so I'm not sure what we're going to do. We might head back to camp and settle in for the day. I don't know. But anyways, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed the mine tour. It was awesome, wasn't it? great experience out here in Colorado. So thanks for watching.